This is iRacing.
Well, the championship is at its halfway point. Gabriel Martinez does have the lead, and Valenteus is perfect throughout the start of the season. But comes with a little bit of a side show, a little bit of a break this week. COTA is the name of the game, and it's a track that people either love or they hate. So we'll wait to see what's going to turn out after 40 minutes here for round 6 of the IMSA Vintage Series live on the Global SimRacing Channel. Well, hello, everybody. I am Craig King. Joining me in the booth today is Alex Goldsmith. Our director will be Daniel Costello, using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Now, this track wasn't a thing back in the 80s, but it's a modern-day staple in America. To find out more about the Circuit of the Americas, we go to our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Circuit of the Americas. The cliche of everything's bigger in Texas rings true for this track in the Lone Star State. Built specifically for Formula One, the number of corners, circuit length, safety features, and general track amenities immediately set this place apart from almost every racing course in the United States. Of the 3 layouts available, the most widely used is the Grand Prix circuit, which tops out at a whopping 20 turns along nearly 3.5 miles. Many of them have been modeled after well-known sections of European tracks such as Silverstone, Hockenheim, and Istanbul. But compared to those venues, this place still has lots of unique challenges. Turn 1 in particular features the largest elevation change from the lap and culminates in a blind and sharp hairpin. The penultimate corner is just as tough, with its off-camber apex and sudden drop forcing many to escape to the paved runoff on the outside. And though it was meant to lure F1, many other series have now raced here, ranging from IndyCar to WEC, IMSA, and even V8 supercars. Track days are also common, with the SCCA running all types of amateur events to allow up-and-coming drivers to feel what it's like to battle on the same tarmac as Vettel and Hamilton have. With this track, American race fans finally get to experience a purpose-built course made in the modern day. Texas went bigger and better, and in the process, raised the bar for their peers.
Well, Alex, this is one of those tracks that everyone likes. It's got a little bit of everything to it.
Yeah, especially going down the hill from turns 1 all the way through to turn 10. It's like you're in a constant variable chicane, so to speak. That long run down from turn 11 to the very tight left-hander at turn 12, you know, there's going to be a lot of slipstreaming. You've also got to watch your track limits, particularly going through from turns 12 and to turns 19 as well. I mean, especially that double left through 17 and 18. One might remember their F1 history. A certain Max Verstappen got knocked off the podium because he went off track. So, yeah, you've got to be on your toes a little bit here at COTA.
Yeah, and some drivers have had issues this week when warming up and doing their little practice runs out here, and no practicing when it comes to the championship, as drivers are fully into their championships for the season. As we just wait to get the standings up, as I was saying, Gabriel Martinez leading the GTPs, and well, he is number 90 today. I can tell you Jacob Reed is in second, Alessia Loma is in third, and those points are correct. It's 90 to 76 to 70. That's why you got the 90 there, because that's Gabriel Martinez. Lars Olsen on 47, Brendan Lim 37, Christoph Jack on 36, Jack David Spickett and Everson Golden both on 35, Nicholas McCannos in 32, Fabian Jungluff in 28. The GTOs, well, Alex, it's the Aldris Valenteus show out there. He's a perfect 100.
Yeah, it is indeed. I mean,
Well, with that as well, just to run that over, it's Joni Hagner in second, Noel Lundberg in third, Yuko Leskola in fourth. He's quite a way back from the rest of them. It's a top 3 battle. Cal Young also tied with Yuko Leskola on 47, Andreas Schuster on 44, Mila Jachari and Mickey Friesen tied on 41. Josh Brain will be 37 points. Brandon White will be 35. So you look at that, Alex, well, it feels even at the halfway stage of the season, it's only 3 cars involved in that championship for the GTO.
Yeah, normally with the GTOs, it's always kind of tight battle anyway. So from that perspective, it's just about getting those points on the board.
Points mean prizes, as Bruce Forsyth once said, as we all like a Brucey minutes today. It will be an open setup, so use the iRacing baselines, use the track map, use a setup you've made yourself, or use something the community had provided. But if you crash, your day is done. There is no spare car. Drive through at 17 incident points, a disqualification at 25. This is probably the first time I'm going to say this with how treacherous COTA can be for anyone who doesn't have triples or an ultra wide or a VR headset. Alex, we might be seeing somebody flirt with that dreaded disqualification.
Yeah, and that could happen sooner than the drivers might actually realise, because as soon as they go, I'm on 15x, I've got to be very, very careful about the next step that I take, or two thereof. So it won't be an easy day for our drivers in the office.
No, and I can confirm that was me once upon a time back when Spa was 17 incident points for a straight DQ, and you get to 15. Oh, you better be a little bit careful now, as we used to say around there. John Swartz at the moment, current pole sitter for the GTPs. Joni Hagner just beating Andreas Schuster in the GTOs, as we see the I wouldn't say the infamous, but the legendary turn 11 to that banana-like straight down to turn 12, and the end of the S's, which of course they wanted to have a little bit of everything around the racetrack. So they took Maggots and Beckett's and thought, let's make it American. Decided to add anti-cut curbs, Alex. I'm not a fan.
Neither am I. I mean, especially with those anti-cut curbs. Especially with how low slung the GTPs and the GTOs are here, Craig, someone might be getting more than just a little bit of air underneath all four wheels on the wagon.
Yeah, I can confirm I have actually had that happen to me before, taking a little bit too much of those anti-cut curves as we're looking up to turn one. I think one of the weirdest but fun corners in motorsport at the moment, that uphill run up to take that curb around. Gabriel Martinez, the number 6 car in terms of iRacing, but looking to make his way, his battle with Jacob Reed in the championship. Key thing to note today, Nissans have had an update on the sim. The drivers are really liking it. They've got some cooling on the brakes now, and cooling on the brakes means the brakes don't overheat very much, so they're able to just go a little bit harder out there to rest. Gabriel puts in a stunning lap, and Jacob Reed spun out of his second lap, so the only real competition who have right now is Christoph Alenajak, who has to find 9/10 to get past him.
That is going to be a lot of time to find turns 12 to 20 for Alenajak here, but hopefully he might be able to rise to the occasion, as we've only got just over a minute and 10 left to go in the session. He was 2/10 down on Gabriel Martinez in the second sector, so it could be nip and tuck between Martinez and Alenajak. But also looking at the Audi GTOs, well, it was at one point Joni Hagner. Andreas Schuster in the number 5 has just gone top of the timesheets by nearly a whopping 4.5 of a second.
Alenajak could not go faster than Martinez, but he went faster than Jacob Reed. That's going to be handy for him as he stops at the end. Roman Bello just going to be finished off. Cal Young did actually go into P2, stunning the number 1 car of Joni Hagner. So that's going to be interesting. Hey, one thing I just realized, Joni Hagner's the number 1 car. And if he's the number 1 car, where's Valenteus, you ask? Well, he's not here this week, taking one of his drop weeks, and it's going to be here at COTA. And I think a lot of drivers going to be taking the drop weeks of COTA. I get it. I love COTA. I don't know if I'd like to drive COTA, so I'm probably with a lot of these drivers. But we'll get to the greatest. They will have the rundown from about 15 onwards to do their warm-up laps or their formation here today. Looking at about 21, maybe 20 laps out there today is small GTP field with Gabriel Martinez alongside Christopher Lenajak in 1 and 2. Jacob Reed will be 3 with John Swartz in 4th. And then it's Fabian Jungbluf in 5th with Bernd Hohensinger in 6th. Carlos Peralta will take 7th with Emerson Golden in 8th. Laura Meiser, the last of the time qualifiers, in 9th, which means Yuko Leskala will start in 10th. David Ricciardi on the next page will be 11th, and Andre Felipe Diaz will be in 12th for the GTPs. The GTOs, a little bit of a bigger, chaotic field today.
Yep, Andreas Schuster puts it on pole position ahead of Cal Young, Joni Hagner and Mickey Friesen round out row 2. Javier Del Olmo and Josh Brain row 3, Elka Gottisalo and Thorben Paulik row 4 with Brandon White and Emilio Di Ciari rounding out your top 10. Roman Bello and Ian Haycox now round out the next row on the grid on row 6 ahead of Shady Ahmad, Stefan Leslie, Yanis Carpentier, Yoni Berg, Nick Tervuch didn't set a lap time in qualifying, neither did the likes of Nicholas Ward, Devin Ilsley and Peter Moraves in the 33. So a bit of a topsy-turvy grid in the GTOs as well, Craig.
Yeah, and you've got to realize when you look at that, over 2 minutes for these GTOs. So if you make a mistake, you're going to be struggling to get your second lap in as well. So interesting delta, over 10 seconds. If you look at the fastest times by both classes, it's about 13, 14 seconds, which is a staggering delta between the two classes compared to a normal day. As we're getting ready to go, I think we're missing one driver on the grid. John Swartz, where are you? Just at the last moment jumps in. Well, here's our race info as well. I haven't really talked a lot about that, but we've got to have to address this for sure. 25 Celsius is the track temp, and you can see it's 77 Fahrenheit out there for the air temp. It's going to be 34 Celsius, 93 Fahrenheit as well. That wind, and that's a southeasterly wind. Now, if you want to know where north is, well, technically there is no corner pointing north. It's going to be a side wind for the entirety of this race.
Oh, that's going to be, I think in the words of James May, a bit of buffeting for all drivers concerned here at COTA. And that is not going to be easy when you're trying to turn the car either right or left, depending on which way the car is pointing. You could find it might be a little bit more difficult to either go left or right hand down, especially with the severity of some of these corners.
Yeah, again, it's a really weird track when you think about its placement, because normally you've got a corner, a straight pointing north or south or east or west, but no, it is at such an angle here. The closest you would get, well, you're looking realistically nowhere. Literally that back straight, that infamous 11 down to 12 long straight, that's your closest to east to west, and it's a southeasterly wind, so it is just going to be that crosswind. Apart from the start line, you have the wind coming straight at you down that hill, so should be quite interesting later on. And you'll see the trees flicker away, the fans getting ready as well. The infamous corners at the end of the racetrack means that we're getting ready. Porsche pace car will be coming off through before the final corner, and then Gabriel Martinez will have full control of these, well, this whole field, but mainly these 12 GTPs. And I do wonder what the car with the little bunny on the front's gonna do. Is he gonna be like the battery and just launch off and stay in the lead all day? We'll wait and see, because he's gonna make them wait till the last moment. A really good launch off here, and that might help him because he's also been able to hold off Jacob Reed. Reed cannot get up side by side with Jack with not a good start there. They'll come up there to turn 1. Reed's gonna try around the outside of turn 1. Usually works, not today, as everyone just holds it straight. Swartz side by side with Youngblood. GTOs are just going it side by side.
Yeah, Cal Young and Andreas Schuster swapping the lead at the moment, but Schuster manages to get through ahead of Young and Joni Hagner. Racing a little bit further back, he's got Javier Del Olmo right on his case. As looked like there was a little bit of those anti-hopping curves, possibly causing a slight issue for the number 8 of Friesen. But look at Martinez, he is away like a scalded cat on a hot tin roof, And Olenek is left to pick up the pieces because he's got Jacob Reed right on his rear as they come out of turn number 11 down the back stretch.
I think that's going to be the key thing, is try to get rid of Jacob Reed, and Jacob may just use this slipstream to get on by, and they'll go side by side right now down into turn 12. Hard onto the brakes. They go a little bit of tapping there, and everyone's now just overshot the corner a little bit. John Swartz is going to say thank you very much, because Olenek just makes a mistake there going too wide at 12 into the slow section, and I think that is Jacob Reed going, that's my fault. I'm going to let you by. I think it was a little bit of everybody there, unless he missed a gear, because he pulled off for some unknown reason. And Yuko Laskala, he didn't pull off. He unfortunately slid off.
Yeah, and Cal Young and Joni Hagner to the outside. That is very, very brave from the Finn, as they're going to dive through into the next left-hander. Pearson going late on the brakes, having to check up a little bit on the middle pedal. So he's had to just wait and see what happens as they go through turns 17, 18, and now into 19 before we hit that 90 left that brings us back onto the start-finish straight. But yeah, Schuster, look at the gaps between Martinez and Schwartz. 1.5 seconds of climbing. Schuster versus Young, 1.1 seconds. And climbing as the opening lap is completed.
Yeah, everyone's finishing up lap 1. They're going to have to do this for another 37 minutes as Jacob Reed is trying his best to work his way up. I'll have to look back at that. That was a very weird. Either he was letting Olenek by, or he had a mistake there with the gearbox. Hopefully it's the latter. Well, again, sportsmanship, of course, is good, but sometimes you let a driver by and then you let somebody else by. It such is the risk, but I think Reed's content right now with this, but the gap between him and Martinez, 3.7 seconds. A little bit of a slide on the hot track tent there coming around turn 11 for Reed. Not what he would like to do, and hopefully this means that he might be able to get the send with the overtake, with the slipstream down into turn 12, but he's too far away. And well, that's the straight they usually used DRS back in the old days of F1, Alex. We can call it old days now. I think Jacob would be liking a little bit of DRS right now.
Yeah, rather than the attack mode system they've got on the current generation cars new for this year. However, yeah, I mean, coming back to what you were saying about Jacob Reed, I mean, he did lock up going into turn 12 on lap 1. So probably either made a mistake or missed a shift. And that's quite easy to do when you're battling at the sharp end of the field, but you see now that Martinez is now 2.2 seconds up the road. Schwartz has got Olenek flooring all over his rear wing, battling for P2 as we come out of turn 20. And well, Cal Young in the meantime is trying to close that gap to Andreas Schuster. Martinez puts in the fastest lap of the race of 56.095 as Jacob Reed late dive to the inside at the top of the hill at T1. And that is a nice move to edge out the number 11 of Fabian Jungwirth for 4th place. And look, Reed has got really good traction coming through out of turns 2, 3, and 4. And then, straight away, Olenek makes a mistake over the curbing. And Reed is all over his back rear wing like a rash. Yeah,
something's been happening there with Jacob. I mean, with Olenek, sorry, because he had a bit of a slide getting on the throttle out of turn 1, but Martinez just calm right now. And with the nature of how big this track is and the smaller field, well, he's not going to see the traffic for a while. So this is the opportunity for him to spread his legs. And there's only really a handful of drivers that have really mastered the new Nissan GTP. This is one of them. And everyone's just been, I would say, a little bit shocked at the pace, because no one expected him to just be, well, everyone expected him to be quick. He's the 5.7k driver. He's been battling so much as the Jack's had a little bit of a moment going into 12 as Jacob Reed gets on by him, but no one expected Gabri to be like this right now. The pace he's shown with these cars, it's almost like something just flipped a switch when he got in these cars, and he's absolutely having the time of his life. You saw right behind Swartz holding off Jacob Reed, the Worcester man there, as they come on by. Well, that gap is only 3 seconds now between Reed and Martinez, 2.5 seconds for John Swartz. Well, he needed to get a move on. He had the fastest lap last time, but everyone at the front of this field now hasn't been fighting. I think we're going to get a little bit of a true representation of pace coming up now.
Yeah, I think, like you were saying, with regards to the new update for the Nissan GTP with Gabriel Martinez, well, he's just got even quicker still. But Jacob Reed's first one to dip under the 1 minute 56 is a 55.957, and he's again just trying to see what he can make of getting past John Schwartz in the number 9 car as Martinez fires his way through 3 and 4. And there are those curves that Craig was talking about earlier, those little upward triangles of yellow that the drivers are being very, very careful to avoid. And one wrong move, as we nearly saw with Christoph Lenijak earlier on, and we also saw with Mickey Frierson in the GTOs, you've got to be millimetre perfect to avoid those at the last moment. As we turn our attention back to the GTOs, Javier Del Olmo, the man from Spain, in the number 15, closing in on Mickey Frierson in that very, very deep purple rain style livery on the number 8 car as they go up the hill into turn 1, hard on the brakes, turn it round. And then you've got Del Olmo, Brain, Cottisalo. Looking at the moment, well, Chari and Bello have made up a place apiece, as now Reed gets through. That's at turn 12 on Schwartz in the, oh, I love that, the old 787B livery back in the day.
I love it. And actually, to be fair, it's a Mazda with a Japanese car on a Japanese car, so it's still cursed because it's a Mazda on a Nissan, but it does work pretty well. Something else that works as well is Cao Young having a nice little driver. Andreas Schuster's currently quiet in the front. Well, the top 8 have not changed positions, and top 7 all within a little bit of a queue. Well, Joni Hagner's trying to catch up to the back of Cao Young here, but even with the fastest lap last time, technically Cao Young was faster, but he had a off track. So of course, officially that does not count. 2/10 faster last time, but can't help it. You'll see as well, timing tower, Jacob Reed. Well, he was fastest, but he wasn't faster. Gabriel Martinez took an off track and was 2/10 faster last time. So those fastest laps are going to be a little bit of false representation, I feel, here. Jukka Leskala officially goes faster because he did not have that off track. So I think we're going to get that as a bit of a representation today, that what we see on the times, we're not going to take gospel, because I think there will be some drivers just taking a little bit of liberties around these track limits today.
Yeah, I mean, Cao Young did a 2:08.135 in comparison with Andreas Schuster with a 2 minutes 8.531. I mean, Young's got that gap down to 6.5 tenths of a second, and loving the Volvo 850 T5 BTCC tribute from Shady Ahmad in the number 16, running 13th position. He gets a bit of a tank slapper, back end, steps out big time to the right as there's an old Jason Plato retro Livia if ever I saw one. Thorben Paulik, well played. Back with his days with Renault in the British Touring Car Championship, and now Plato being a team owner with Robo and Adam Morgan as his drivers this season.
But you start showing your age when you talk about Renault and British Touring Car, but no,
mate, I could go way back when Mansell was in a Mondeo. Don't tempt me, Craig.
We won't do that. We'll repeat the Murray Walker going for first, but definite there as well. As Plato currently enjoying some historic Monaco this weekend. Gabriel Martinez is enjoying some historic GTP racing, and he'll get his first lap car coming up at the moment. A back marker, Peter Muraz, not having the best of time out there. A couple of spins out there and going to have to go on. I see Fabian Jungblöf going down the order. He's had a big incident there coming around, and he's actually lost it on his own through turn 19. Now, did he take too much curb? I'm watching it back. He did indeed, too much curb, and I wonder if he actually just got caught out by somebody else, because a lot of damage on the rear there. No, he actually damaged the rear trying to spin the car around to get it pointing the right way. And well, I've never seen that before. I gotta be brutally honest, Alex. It's just someone spinning the car to get it pointing forward, causing a little bit more damage. As Jukka Leskala, well, he ain't got damage, but he's trying to catch up to the wacky, inflating, waving, line, squiggly, I don't know how Emerson wants to call it, Emerson's paint livery.
Could be the IMSA Vintage Series equivalent of a Jackson Pollock there, mate. But yeah, there was also damage to Jungblöf's front car as well. Front aero heavily damaged. Leskala sends it from way back when and gets through for position. So nice move there from the man from Finland in the number 3 car. So he's making some good inroads at the moment. Up 3 positions at the moment. And if I remember correctly, Leskala didn't set a lap time in qualifying, did he?
No, did not set a lap time, so he started 10th. So technically the hardest charger up 3 in this small field for the GTPs today is going a little bit retro out there today. Just one back marker just being a little bit held up there. He's had a little bit of a moment where I was out there, and another moment out there as well as Leskala now looking to see if he can pull ahead of Gordon, catch up to Hohensinger, just see how far he can get here, just really to manufacture some better points. Manufacturers also a little bit of help with the iRating, because if you're the number 3 car, that's not going to be favorable in a 12-car field. He won't talk about what he might be losing or what he could be losing. What we do know is he'll definitely be losing a little bit of time out there. But the times, as you see on those timing towers, slowly going down. Jacob Reed working his way by, because I do see, as I'm looking at a track map, Matt Martinez hit a couple lap cars out here. Leskala will be hitting them shortly. Everyone's going to be hitting them short enough as they come out of the S's. Yuko Leskala now right onto the back of Hohensinger. Real good run through the S's. And like I said, they wanted Maggots and Beckett's, Alex. It's nothing like the original.
Yeah. There are always imitators, but there's always one originator, as they say. But yeah, Leskala's really on a march and a half, with Ben Hohensinger having to guard his rear, so to speak. But Cal Young, the man from the UK, is closing that gap again, and this time it was a 2-minute 8.5 low 2:08.5 for Young, a high 2:08.6 for Schuster. So Schuster having to really start to think about where he needs to position the car. But look, Joni Hagner again closing in. Atfin's always got pace for days, and the top 3 as they cross the line, just under 27 minutes to go. The gap is less than a second between the trio. And then Josh Brain in the number 12 trying to close in on Javier Del Olmo, and he's got Ilka Cotisalo in the number 7 right with him, as you can just see a little bit of different approach to going through that very tight left-hander at turn 1 at the crest of the hill. And it is pretty much blind, so you're a bit on a wing and a prayer there, as Josh Brain accidentally activates the wipers, whereas Del Olmo looks like he's having a magnetic storm at the moment, because he seems to be attracted to all those anti-hopping curbs right now.
Yeah, I think Josh might have some moisture in his helmet, and hence why that's happening. Probably thought that there was a little bit of rain about, but there's no rain today. That's in a couple of weeks. Forbin Pollock looking to really Jason Plato it around here with Ian Haycox, and maybe we'll get that going later on, as the field is now starting to spread out a little bit. As you can see on the timing tower, there's groups on groups, usually one big group around here, but at the moment I feel like it's just going to be a couple of smaller groups. And we talk about the different ways you can approach turn 1, turn 11. We saw Forbin go through there. Different ways to approach turn 11 out there. So one thing is for sure is everyone is getting their way around the track and looking for the best way to get around the track, as the leaders are now hitting, and I'm talking the leaders of the GTPs, they're starting to really push into the traffic, and they're at the worst part of the track to deal with the traffic. I know that sounds crazy when we just got the Maggots and Beckett's S's, but these are the smallest and shortest and slowest and narrowest parts of the track right now. We see Cal Young still pushing on to Andreas Schuster. The GTPs won't get to these guys yet, but they may be seeing them next time by.
Yeah, and they've got to be very, very careful. As soon as backmarker traffic comes into play here on the IMSA Vintage Series, it is never easy for anybody, especially for those that are having their own battle. We've got the top 3, Linus third, the gap has come under 9/10, so Schuster's having to place the car where he needs to. Young and Hagner are on the charge, and there's a big gap between Hagner and Friesen, and that gap is now expanding to the best part of nearly 2.5 seconds. So and now we're seeing that Martinez and Reed it's mano a mano between those two, and the big gap that they've got between them and John Schwartz in P3 is 5 seconds. There's Davide Ricciardi, the Swiss driver, running in 9th to close down on the driver in front, which is Emerson Gordon, the number 18. So a solid battle here for 8th place. So it has gotten into a bit of a rhythm now, but then as soon as we see Reed and Martinez going hammer and tongs, getting past back marker traffic, that's not going to be easy.
No, and I think this is the problem. Martinez did not get the best of run through the traffic, and that allowed Jacob to really catch up to him. Now we know the different pedigrees here, and if we go to the walking in the snow method right now, Martinez is going to be the one plowing the snow away from the pavement, and Reed's going to be the one. Reed outbrakes himself there. Well, he's got to do it all over again. He's just lost a second with that little mistake, and I wondered if he just thought, can I do this, and outbroke himself there. So all the time he gained from the traffic, he's going to start losing it because he's going to have to try and find a way, and there's never a way to make a move around here through the tricky turn at 15 as Bello has to take the natural line. Martinez has not done his best to get away, and that would have been a great opportunity to use what just happened there to get away from Reed, but that gap's still 1.5 seconds, as you can see on the timing tower, so not going to help him too much. But both of them definitely getting held up through the traffic, as we'll see the ties. Remember, the lap times are the finish line is at the start of the straight, 58.3, 58.8, just to show you when they were doing 56s all of a sudden and 55s. Well, all of a sudden everyone's just getting held up by the traffic, and well, here comes the top 7 that they've got to navigate through the S's.
Yeah, and as we are approaching half-time in this race, it is going to be a matter of just being on your best behaviour, crossing every T, dotting every I. Martinez having to find his way through that traffic, so is Reed. Lescala now closing in on Carlos Peralta in the number 14, as they've got a few GTOs just up ahead. This could give Lescala the opportunity he's been waiting for. He's up 4 spots. Can he make it spot number 5? As he tries to get past the number 14 Calsonic edition, run on board with the man from Finland. This is where you've just got to wait and then bury the hammer down over the blind crest, and Peralta gets blocked, and yes, there we go. Jukka Lescala takes complete advantage of the situation into turn 11, and that's 5 spots for the Finn in the number 3.
Good run up the field for Lescala. I think he had 2 off tracks and invalid lap times. Josh Brain just getting, I believe that's overtaken there. Jaco Costasalo getting by him through the treacherous turn at 12. So that's all working as the GTP leaders have gone through them. It's Josh Brain now. Where does he look for an overtake? Well, if he goes a bit too wide through here, he's not going to get any chance there. Allows Elena Jack to go on by, and Christoph not talked a lot about it. Down 2 since the start. Now 2 seconds behind John Schwartz, and Ilka is now starting to push on to Javier Del Olmo. As now we look back to the leaders, Cal Young, well, still here. And if you've never seen a GTO race around in IMSA Vintage, it's just kind of what you're used to. Just a lot of drivers just waiting for the opportunity to attack, using the straights to their advantage, and hopefully using the wind to their advantage today, because I think they may hope that that wind can actually push the cheese block around for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, and still, with coming up to halfway of the race, here comes Hagner. He's just been passed, and look, the top 3 are now having to wait and just keep out of the way. So that has been quite crucial. And it's always, we know what the situation here is in the IMSA Vintage Series, Craig. I mean, it's the case of everyone knows that it is down to the faster car to make the maneuver pass safely and cleanly without incident. But it's also a bit of due diligence for the drivers that have been in this in the GTO class for many a time. Zelka Cottisalo really closing in on the Spaniard Javier Del Olmo for 5th place. Just coming through the back of shot, Josh Braid in the number 12 car. He's about 1.3 seconds away from this battle. but Cottisalo's got a real good run down the back stretch in towards turn 12. Cal Young was looking to stick his nose up the inside of Andreas Schuster through into 12. Schuster manages to keep it go, but Young to the inside at 13. Can he keep the inside line? Yes, he can, because Schuster might have missed a shift.
Big mistake there by Schuster, and he's lost 2 positions with that miss shift. And that's the last thing you'll want to do, is have a little bit of a moment there. And I wonder if he also just got pushed off that racing line he wanted to have. And, well, not a lot of traffic around right now for Martinez to use to try and stop Jacob Reed, as Jacob is now on the attack once again, and hopefully not making a mistake into turn 12 this time. But never say never. Knock on wood. You just don't know what can happen in these cars, because we saw with Jacob outbraking, and that's the problem now, is drivers having to readjust their braking because of the changes in the week. Johnny Hagner overtaking Cal Young in the GTOs, you'll see in the timing tower. So they have to adjust the braking around here now that they're not used to, well, basically not used to how it brakes now. Like I said, the cooler temperatures now, they've introduced better cooling for the brakes. I know that sounds weird, but what that does mean for the Nissans is it allows them to just have a little bit more effort to load up the brakes and brake harder. For these GTOs, though, not a lot out there for them. Cal, well, would love to get some time. Don't think he's going to get it.
Yeah, so this has been a very, very interesting battle. But now Johnny Hagner leading the way ahead of Cal Young and Andreas Schuster. He's got to fight back now, but with this these faster GTP cars, I think he might have an opportunity if someone makes a mistake, because Cal Young, again, looking to the inside. Hagner defends, and through goes Peralta, but oh, that Schuster, I think, just got a little bit of an issue there. Cal Young into turn 13 again, over the curbing, and he manages to make it work. Cal Young again, it seems like turns 13, 14 are his sweet spot here for overtaking COTA.
Yeah, I feel like that could be it. Lucky for some, unlucky for others, as Martinez goes faster. Emerson Gordon now, the Jersey man, having a little bit of a scrap, but oh, hang on, they're free wide. Hang on, that's the worst place to be, free wide, boys. As they're coming through 16, 17, and 18, they went free wide. I think Emerson had a little bit of an issue there with a mid-shift, and that just locked everybody up, but they were back. They were caught in a battle themselves. So that's going to be a little bit unfortunate for them all, as everyone just meets everybody. The meeting of the minds, and they say everything bigger in Texas. Well, so is the battles, as battles continue off. As we say goodbye, Alex. It was good having you, Alex. Unfortunately, having to leave us for the time being, but thank you, yes, Alex. Unfortunately, you're going to miss out on a grandstand finish.
I am indeed. I've got another commitment, but always a pleasure, Craig, and great to work alongside you and Daniel and the team here at GSRC, folks. I'll see you when I do.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you once again for Alex. 18 minutes, or 15 minutes, sorry, remain. I was looking at the international 24-hour clock there, which was 18:40 my time, as Emilio De Chari in this interesting delivery. Got the Saab in front of him as well. And here's Bern Hohensinger. As well, even with a smaller field today, there are still battles upon battles out there for the drivers, as Bern losing out to Emerson Gordon and then having a small moment through turn 11. And even though the cars have had some updates to them, these Nissans, and not these Audis, you know, the Audis, there's still no updates there. The Nissans, so just got to be a little bit careful when they come to overloading and getting on the throttle. These guys got to be sliding it around as we're used to with that classic quattro four-wheel drive, as Hagner continues to hope for an opportunity. Well, nothing going, as you've got Fabian Junglo still with that damage on the side of the car, trying to get it around, but when you got damage like that, you're going to be losing out on all that top speed. And, well, top speed is the name of the game for the track today. And I do wonder, when they make a move with them and Gordon, almost he's trying to split the two cars there and trying to mark himself in the middle, trying to make a safe move by. Well, it was safe. Unfortunately, just oversped a little bit there and causing issues. And talking of overspeeding, Jacob Reed would love to speed right now down this back straight. And you can see why I call it a little banana. It's not straight. Start to curve in a little bit. As we look to see, will he go for the move? He's going to sell the dummy. And he's just going to do the over-under on Gabriel Martinez. And will that work through 12? He gets a small bit of overlap, but he'll have to carry this around the outside. And Martinez wisely breaks late to say, you're not going to have that outside, because the outside would become the inside here. And he just can't get that move done. And again, and it's so treacherous through that 13, 14 into 15, because it's just a struggle to just get a move done. Traffic give, traffic take it. Jacob almost into the back of Gabri, runs off wide. If that was NASCAR, that wouldn't be a 1X, but we're on a Grand Prix circuit. That's a slowdown for Jacob Reed. And he's going to have to serve that, and he's going to have to slow down and say goodbye to those 6/10 there, because Jacob's going to have to work on it. While he works on serving that slowdown, Josh Brain is looking to make some moves on Ilka Costa-Salo, but if you know the GTOs, you can't outbrake in a GTO. So unfortunately, gonna have to reset, and now you see how the GTOs are struggling through this tight section. They can't really make the move. Hello, who is that just going very wide behind Milo DeChara? Is that Brandon White? It was Brandon White, former junior champion, was just outbraking himself there. And well, I'm gonna be brutally honest, it's easily done around the COTA. That, you know, you've got your brake markers, but it's such a wide track with such a lot of runoff that you kind of want brake markers a little bit closer to the track, but they don't have those out there. So you've got to live with what you're given. And unfortunately for Brandon White, what he got was a loss of 2 places and about 5 seconds lost for going a little bit too wide, as someone looking to not go too wide. Milo DeChara cuts in aggressively there. Always tough to make any sort of corner on that final turn 20, as DeChara is all strapped in. And I believe really in Argentina, it is springtime in the Northern Hemisphere. It would be start to the full season for the Argentine, so it'll start to be a little bit warmer, or a little bit colder, sorry. You'll be looking a bit warmer as you'll be wrapping up in the layers, as you do in Argentina if you're doing the Southern Hemisphere. When the Europeans and the Americans come to the summer. But he's keeping it cool, he's keeping it calm, he's keeping it collective right now. And look at the concentration. We talked about the anti-cut curbs earlier, and you can see why. Look at the concentration you have to do as you now set yourself up through 6 into 7. It's just all concentration. It's all concentration out there. And Jacob Reed is all attack. He's starting to really just get that 10-gallon hat on and just start to ride this course better. A little bit more aggressive, managing to serve that slowdown, of course, but hasn't really hindered him, as Martinez unable to start to pull ahead. And this is interesting because it feels Reed quicker through this first sector. And I mean, let's be real, if it is trying to intimidate Maggots and Beckett's, then he's an Englishman, he's the Worcesterman. He knows what he's doing when it comes to going around Silverstone, so he should be fine at the S's. But you come to this second sector here as Martinez goes a bit too deep through 11, where he can't get on the throttle in time. Yeah, this middle section here, or this end section, not really got the pace to do anything. And Swartz, well, hats off to Swartz. Real good drive here today, but how does he catch up to Reed and Martinez? I don't know. 8 seconds behind those two is kind of bubble racing at the moment. It's not really the best place to be when you've got no one in front of you to fight, no one behind you to fight. Elena Jack's 3 seconds behind, but I mean, let's turn it into a positive here. You could gain safety rating. I know some drivers would be thinking, COTA, safety rating? Well, if he keeps it on the track, as I said there, he probably just took it off track. If he keeps it on the track, he should be fine. Or, well, so we think. Two battles in the GTP still going on. We've got about 3-4 battles in the GTOs and leaders in both categories with the final 9 minutes to go are in their own little battles. Here's Cal Young still battling Joni Hagner as they come on by into the final few, well, into the back straight. Sorry, I thought that was the final few corners. Getting myself confused here. You know, it's COTA. Is he going to look for a move here? We know how hard it is to outbrake in a GTO, and yeah, he starts lifting. Cal starts lifting. Not a lot he can do in that sense because got to be alongside really to make a move there, and he was not there to make the move, so that's a little bit unfortunate for him. You'll see on the timing tower, Jacob Reed caught up to Gabriel Martinez, and they're going through the traffic right now. Although I say that, Martinez again with a mistake. There it is. He's had a mistake through 11. And they're going to go side by side. Who gets the throttle down earlier? Well, it is Martinez. Now, what about their aero package here? Do they have different wings? It is going to be good for a few kilometers an hour different. Last of the late breakers is Gabriel Martinez. That he broke a bit too late. He's going to have to do this around the outside of 12. Holds on to it very well. And now let's just hope he's got the vision to see if he can get through this tricky combination. Reed's going to see the traffic ahead as well. And that is Yanis Carpentier. They're going to split. Yanis. That's never going to work for Jacob. Yanis understeered wide. And Reed, every time he finds an opportunity to get up to Martinez, it's this end section. And he can't find anything. So where does he go now? Where does he go now? He hopes for traffic to help him. Oh, there's traffic up ahead for Gabri. Not helped him at all. So let's hope. No, he's hoping, sorry, that he can make some moves. Emerson Gordon's hoping he could try and get past Fabian Junglo. From Fabian with all that damage, not a lot he could do. Oh, understeer. That's going to be even more damage there for Fabian as Emerson got onto the throttle. And, well, he got on a bit too hot there on the throttle as the car fishtailed a little bit. So Fabian will hold on to that after that small mistake from Emerson. But he's pushing hard, and look at the damage. Well, it was a Minolta Toyota. It looks like a Min Toyota right now. Ilka Costa-Salo. How is Ilka doing in his battle with Javier Del Olmo? Nothing's changed here. And you look at now, Joni Hagner and Andreas Schuster, the only two cars in the top 5 to not be where they started. These guys also trying to go with Costa-Salo. Looking to go +2, but again, how do you late brake in a GTO? How do you late brake in a GTO? Well, he's tried it. He got past Josh Brain with a lovely little move there. Almost played the mind games there. So, very good. So that was Javier Del Olmo, sorry. He's just had a misshift. Sorry, I thought that was weird. Josh was not in an orange car. I apologize. But that's now 4th position due to what happened to Javier Del Olmo as Cal Young still looking. Where does he go? 5 minutes to go. Joni Hagner with this lead. Where does Cal look to attack? And it's kind of the same situation here with what Reed and Martinez is doing. It's just that issue where getting close to him, but it's at the straight. So what do you do? A little bit of a look up there from Cal. We just missed it. It was the inside corner. Locked the tires up, and that allows to get a sharper turn in, because it is blind, as Alex was saying earlier, but at the same time you've got so many different lines you could take, and the conventional way you would think is I'll just go wide and just cut in, but unable to. A driver that would love to cut in right now, Emerson Golden, he's had a little bit of a moment out there. You saw him in the timing tower, outbraked himself into turn 12, and it's kind of the story for everybody today is that turn 12 is catching a lot of drivers up. Out Jacob Reed. Seeing the timing tower with 4 minutes to go, and that's only going to be 2 more laps to go when they cross the finish line. That gap's closing. It's slow. It is slow, but question does go, has he got time? Not is he got time. Apologies for my grammar there. Has he got the time? I don't know. Traffic might help him, because there is going to be the leaders, and the leaders are all spread out. And now Reed goes wide through 11. Well, all that time has just been lost in the bumps of COTA, maybe catching somebody out. Cal Young now getting caught out here, trying to go around the outside. And I think he may have got this. He went to the outside to set the inside. He's got to try and do it around the outside of 15. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Even Verstappen tried that, and I think he got pushed a little bit too wide through those bits. So finally got that move done. And, well, he thought he had that move done. I got to be brutally honest. He actually was there. He managed to get a good run out of 12 to start attacking into 13. Something you rarely hear in any sort of car. Around COTA. Well, yeah, I got turn 12 right, and I went to attacking 13. You're like, what? No. You usually start by side at 12 if you want to set up through 13. No, Cal Young just went aggressive, and he knew he had to. And now I wonder if that means Hagner's going to look to defend here. The Glacier Racing Audi is under the defense, but the last of the late breakers is Cal Young. Going to use all that track to try and slow it down. He's trying to slow it down as much as he can, and he has the lead, but Yoni's got the side-by-side. Got to give the respect now with the overlap. They're going to try and do this side-by-side through the exit, and they will now get through 2 into 3. Cal can't do it. He could not take that tight line. He knew the anti-cut curve was going to hit him and hit him hard. He had to give back the lead. And, oh, if you're Joni Hagner right now, you're going to be thankful for that. If you're Cal Young, you're going to be kicking yourself. He had to try and do that late break into turn 1. Well, it almost worked for him. It hadn't been working either for Jacob Reed. Right now, they're getting caught up by the lap traffic around here. Mickey just almost gets hit by Gabri Martinez there. Gabri's looking a little bit desperate to try and make some moves. Look at the little fishtail there, looking to try and just defend. And I do see Andreas Schuster 2 seconds ahead of them. Is he going to play spoiler to this? There's also Devin Ilsley as well in front of them. So Jacob's going to have to pick his time if he wants to make this move. And I don't think he's going to be able to make this move this time. And I don't think he's going to do what Cal Young did, because that was a little bit crazy by Cal Young as Ilsley goes off. So that helps them. Reed's just going to hold on. I think Reed's going to be setting us up for one last run through COTA. Maybe, just maybe, he'll be able to make a move. But they're coming up to the leaders, which does mean that it will be one to go for all parties involved. And all parties will be wondering after 38 minutes and 30 seconds, well, could I have done more in this race at COTA today? Survey says, well, I can't tell you. I don't know what your position is. Gabriel's going to look to put a car between them, and this may also affect the championship, the race battle. No, they'd actually both overtake Joni Hagner, so now Cal might get a little bit of a run here. I don't think Jacob's going to get a run for the final lap, so we'll keep our eye right now. Look at this. All the leaders are together. Everybody gets together. There's not going to be an attack here from Jacob Reed. There is going to be one, though, from Cal Young. Going to look for the same time again. Joni fell for it again, and they're side by side. And here they go again through the S's. More bumping DTM style. Joni could not get that run this time. Cal keeps the lead. And this, for the first time in the race, he has the lead. What about David Ricciardi there losing out? It feels like to Emerson Gordon, as Emerson's still battling. Jacob Reed now needs to find some time on Gabri Martinez. That gap's half a second, sorry. He'd love it to be half a temp. He'd be attacking if it was half a temp. But now he's going to have to think about where he attacks here. Because if he doesn't get a good run here through 11 to set himself up into 12, there's no traffic. There's no more traffic to talk about here. So Gabri just going to have to defend this corner, I feel. If he defends this, he's going to be safe. Or so you would think, unless Jacob does a Cal Young out of nowhere. But lightning doesn't strike twice, as they say. Breaking in for turn 12. Martinez does hold it. Jacob keeps it tight, but where do you look? Where do you look around here? Still keeping it tight. Still keeping it tight. Cal Young loses out to Joni Hagner in the GTOs at the same place. They're going to be side by side. Jacob Reed! We've got to go back to the lead of the GTP! He just dived it into 14! No, you didn't! side by side. They will go through the final corners. Martinez with the outside line. Outside is usually faster because of the elevation. He'll get this now. Put on him at corner 19. Does he overcook it? No way. Martinez with the slowdown. He got the slowdown. And now Reed out of nowhere. That is not what anyone expected. Jacob Reed with the steal of the century, and we may have same drama in the GTOs. Yoni Hagner has done the exact same. They're bumping so hard, Yoni's gonna get the slowdown serve. And Cal, has he just cost himself the victory? Oh my word. 0.043. And if I'm Cal Young, I'm going to want a mulligan there. If he didn't send it in, I think he would have had the victory. Yoni had no time to serve that slowdown. That's a big time drama there. 0.043. Wow. Emerson Gordon still battling. Gotta catch your breath after a race like that. Everything just exploded in the final minute there. Emerson Gordon can't catch up to Fabian Jungbluf. That damaged Fabian Jungbluf car will hold on. Man, yeah, and that's going to be all she wrote for those. Wow, apologies if you're hearing any microphone tapper there. Just quick clean. Jacob Reed, well, he'll be, well, divine intervention, I think, is what he needs out there today. He get past Gabriel Martinez due to a slowdown, and John Swartz just had to watch it all in third. Christoph Lena Jack will finish in fourth, and Yuko Letskala fifth, up 5 places. Carlos Peralta will be sixth, Fabian Jungbluf in seventh, and Emerson Gordon, well, the Emerson special. He started eighth, he finished eighth. David Ricciardi will be in ninth, and Bern Hohensinger will be in 10th. Means Andre Felipe Diaz 11th. Laura Meiser did finish the race, but 1 lap down to the GTOs. We'll see that gap. Look at that gap. Look at that gap. If you're Cal Young right now, are you kicking yourself? Are you, as Yoni Hagner just said, a little bit of stock car racing there at the end that I think really you got to get your elbows out when it's so desperation at the end there. So nice little finish by the two of them there. Hagner beats Young. Andreas Schuster finishes in third. Mickey Friesen will be fourth. Ilka Costa-Salo will take fifth. Josh Brain sixth, and Javier Del Olmo seventh, followed by Roman Bello in 8th. Forban Pollock will take 9th. Milo Dechari will be 10th, and Ove Trengarade, as we go to the next page, will be 11th. We're going to talk about Ove because he finished up 6th place at the hardest charger today. Stephanie Leslie will be in 12th, and Brandon White will be 13th. Yannis Carpentier will take 14th. Nick Turbich will be 15th, Vivian Haycox in 16th, Yoni Berg 17th, Nicholas Ward, last man on the lead lap, in 18th. Devin Ilsley had to take some repairs in 19th. Peter Mervis will also have to take some repairs, finishes 2 laps down in 20th. Shadi Ahmad retired early in 21st. Right. Very quickly, we do have time for just one quick interview. Yoni Hagner out there today. Yoni, first of all, do you think the little stock car race at the end saved you there?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it, but it's always so fun when you have a driver who you can like trust and do the things.
It looked a pretty quiet first half of the race for you, Young and Schuster, and then everything just opened up in front of you. Young and Schuster had a little bit of a battle, missed shifts as well, and you just took advantage of that. Did you find yourself struggling out there, or did you just trust the cars in front of you?
Well, at the start I was saving tires like first 10 laps, and then I started to try a bit more, so it was a bit of strategy.
I got to talk about next week because we're at COTA, big American track. We're at Miami next week, smaller American track, first time. I don't know if you've had any experience around there. Your thoughts on what could be a very interesting race at Miami next week?
Well, shame that I need to miss next week, but probably very good track for these cars.
Oh, we'd love to see you again. We want to see another grandstand finish like that with you and Cal Young, but we can't help that as well. Yoni, before we let you go, just a couple shout-outs.
Well, thank you for the broadcast and nice to be in the commentary booth second time today.
Yeah, Joni Hagner in the booth second time today. Will he make it free tomorrow? We'll wait and see. As there goes Joni Hagner. And that's going to do it for us all today. A shout out once again to the IMSA Vintage community. Yes, we're at COTA today, definitely. Shout out to the IMSA Vintage community for bringing us back again. And a shout out to Alex, to Daniel, and to Dougie. Miami, as I was just saying, is where we are next week, same time. Going to be a different kettle of fish, or I don't know what they say in America, barrel of fish. We'll wait and see. More racing going on this weekend, as we will have the Lotus 79s at Gilles Villeneuve, and then we do it all again next week. Skip Barbers will be at Summit Point. The Grand Prix Tour goes to Miami as well, and then Grand Prix Legends head to Alton Park. So, little double whammy of Miami next week. As Joni Hagner, well, you could say he stole one there. Jacob Reed definitely stole one to put himself right back into the championship. Miami's going to be different, though, and we want to know what will happen to the drivers. Until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.
This is iRacing.